Hey everyone. Since no one seems to be joining this Google Meet today, I wanted to go through the final assignment for the class just to make sure that you have the ability to do it. Um, so, so the purpose of this assignment is to show you the tax benefits of buying a house. All right, and this revolves around the fact that once you buy a house, you can file your taxes a little bit differently than you can before you do. And that has to do with the fact that you can do what is called itemizing deductions. So when you itemize deductions, instead of subtracting the standard deduction of $12,400 from your income to determine the taxable income, which you then use the chart or the formula to compute. If you itemize your deductions, you can deduct a lot more than the $12,400. And the more you deduct, the lower your tax bill is going to be because the lower your taxable income will be. So things that are tax deductible that most people who do not own a home cannot deduct are mortgage interest and a category that's state income and local property taxes. And finally, charitable contributions are also tax deductible, and there are some other less common categories that are tax deductible, but the three big ones are charitable contributions, mortgage interest, and state income, and most importantly, property taxes. So when you buy a house, all of a sudden, instead of renting, all of a sudden you have chances are you took a mortgage, you have a lot of interest charges, and you have a lot of property taxes, especially in New Jersey. So when you add those two together, it's likely that you're going to surpass probably double the amount of money that you can deduct from your taxes instead of the $12,400. I have an example. So the actual assignment is to work through an example. So the example is like a single teacher in Roxbury, what his salary is after teaching nearly 20 years at the high school, then what he gives to charity, and then he decides to take out a mortgage on a home in Roxbury, a $400,000 home in Roxbury, at 3.68%, and he puts 20% down on the house. All right, and then he purchases it on December 31st, 2020, which means he will have owned it all of 2021. And so when he does his 2021 taxes, you're going to see how he can end up deducting much more than $12,400. In fact, I think he's going to end up deducting double that because of mortgage interest and property taxes. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go through the questions and the assignment. So how much is he going to be borrowing? Well, his house is $400,000. He's putting 20% down. 20% of $400,000 is 80%. So that would mean he's borrowing $320,000. Okay, so then what will his monthly payment on his 30-year mortgage at 3.25%. 3.68% was his, I misread it, was his income taxes. So his mortgage is 3.25%. So how do we figure out what his payment is? Well, we you should remember we spent an entire few weeks kind of coming up with fairly detailed amortization charts, and I put a link to one in the notes or the assignment. So basically what you would do, this should look familiar, is you would go to the first page that's calculate payment, and then you would fill in the information as required. So the interest rate is 0.0325. The amount borrowed is going to be $323,000, and the number of years is 30. So what does that give us? That gives us a mortgage payment of, as soon as it's 1392.66. Okay, and while we're on this page, well, actually, we'll just go back and forth. So let's see, there we are. So that would be what his monthly mortgage payment would be, 1392.66. Okay, so now since mortgage interest is tax deductible, what we need to do is add up all of the interest that he pays that first year of his loan. So the interest charge each month is in column G. So basically we need to add up rows 2 through 13 of column G. So hopefully some of you may remember how to do this as a formula. So you type in some empty cell, type equals sum, and then an open parenthesis, and then you're going to highlight rows 2 through 13. Okay. No, not 14, 13, shoot. So there we go. So $10,305 in interest. All of that is going to be tax deductible. So that would be the amount of the value of the mortgage interest in 2021 is what I just computed, which was $10,000, $10,305.12. So that's the answer to this one right there. Okay, so now let's look at property taxes. So under the 2020 rules, you can deduct for up to $10,000 of state income and property taxes. So let's look at property taxes. Well, how are we going to figure out what his property taxes are likely to be on his $400,000 home in Sakasana? Well, you can go to a website like Zillow once again. So let's go to Zillow. No, not Camtasia. I'm going to go to Zillow. Z-I-L-L. And I'm going to do a search for a home in Sakasana. And I'm going to, after it comes up with a list, I'm going to do, oh, no, I don't want that. I want regular homes, not mobile homes. Let's see, Zillow, Sakasana, New Jersey. No, how do I get? All right. Let's see. Let me try this again. All right. Let's make sure that I'm. Okay. Buy. Let's see. We're gonna buy. And we don't want manufactured. We want houses. Okay, and now we're going to specify a price of the range we're going to do is 380 to $420,000. See what it comes up with. Okay, so here's one on Barbara Drive for offered for $405,000, and here's another one. Actually, there's three offered for 400, pretty close to $400,000. So we'll look at this one that's 405. And let's see, the way we're going to determine what the taxes are likely to be is for most Zillow listings, if you keep scrolling down to price and tax history on the right-hand side, it's going to tell you what the what in 2019, what the homeowner, what their taxes were. Okay, so for this one, it was $8,831. Okay, so that would be the answer for the next problem. It's likely to pay, you can put $8,831. Okay, so now what is his actual mortgage payment going to be? Well, his mortgage payment is going to be not only the payment on the loan, but also the property taxes are going to be taken out 1 month at a time. And then typically your mortgage provider pays your property taxes, and you've paid your mortgage provider to pay them. I mean, you've given your mortgage provider the money. So what you would do is, you know what the total for the year is, 8,800, whatever. So you need to divide that by 12, and then whatever you get, you need to add to the payment on his loan. Okay, so I think you're going to get something like maybe $2,200, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. I'm just estimating. Okay, so now let's look at state income taxes. So state income taxes, it says, and I looked this up, that on average, someone who's making the salary that John is in this problem is probably paying around 3.68% in state income taxes. Could be a little more, a little less, depending on his situation, but roughly around there. Okay, so how do we find out then how much in state income taxes he's going to be paying? You multiply 0.0368 times what his income was. His income, I think, was like $80,300. So you're going to multiply those together to get his state income taxes. All right, and now you're ready to come up with how much money John can itemize on his tax deductions. So what you're going to add together are the mortgage interest. Now, state and property taxes in 2021. I think we figured out that he owed he was going to pay $8,800 in property taxes. Let me just see what let's see what his state income taxes are going to be. So hold on. So slow when you're recording a Google Meet. My computer's gagging. There we go. Okay, so 0.0368 times, I think, like 81,000. It was either 81,300, 400. I can't remember which. Okay, so he's going to pay about $3,000 in state income taxes. So if you add state income taxes and property taxes together, he's going to clearly overshoot the $10,000. So that means he can only declare $10,000. So his state income and property tax deduction is going to be $10,000. His mortgage interest, I think we said, was like, what did we say it was? It was $10,305. So now he's up to $20,305. And then charitable contributions. So his charitable contributions are $1,200. So what you do, you add up 10,000 another 10,000, and another 1,200, and you get a figure that's somewhere close to like $21,000 or $22,000. So that means John is going to be able to deduct an additional $10,000 from his taxes than he would if he was renting an apartment and had no mortgage interest and no property taxes. All right, so at his income, that's going to deduct a lot from his taxes, because $10,000 that is now suddenly tax-free is, a pretty big deal. Okay, so now you're asked to find out what his taxable income is with the standard deduction and what it is with if he itemizes. So with the standard deduction, you would subtract 12,400, the standard deduction, from his salary, his gross income, I should say, and his gross income was, where is it? Let's see, 81,300. So you subtract 12,400 from 81,300, and I think you get something like 60. I want to say like 68.9 or something like that. All right, so that would be his taxable income with the standard deduction. Now, his taxable income with itemized deductions, well, you start with his gross income, and instead of subtracting out 12,400, you subtract out the sum that you got by adding up all his itemized deductions together. All right, and I think we said it's going to be around $21,000 or $22,000. So that means his taxable income, when he itemizes his deductions, is really about $10,000 less than it is if he takes the standard deduction. So I think his taxable income with itemized deduction is probably around, I want to say it's around 60,000 or 58,000 instead of 68,000 or 69,000. Okay, so now the next part is figure out how much he's going to owe in the situation where he took the standard deduction and in the situation where he was itemizing deductions. So what you do, you take the taxable income and you go to the chart. Remember this when we even came up with the equations for this. So if you look at, and you know what, you can either go to the chart or you can actually go to the equation that you generated for that tax bracket. Remember in the big 2017 versus 2020 project, we actually generated the equations for taxable income as a function of income. So if you take the federal tax, the taxable income that you have right here, and either substituted it in for X for that tax bracket's equation, and he's going to be in the third tax bracket either way. His income is, with the standard deduction, is like 68 or 69,000. With the itemized deductions, is like 58,000. So either way, he's in this tax bracket. So either use the equations for this tax bracket, or you can follow the directions right here. So his tax is going to be 46,1750 plus 22% of the excess of 40,125. So you would take the taxable income, subtract out 40,125. That's going to be the difference here. Multiply it by 0.22 and add 4617. So when you do that, I think you're going to find out that he owes like $2,000 less, somewhere around $2,000 less in income taxes if he can itemize his deductions. So that's $2,000 in his pocket that he would not have had if he had been renting an apartment. All right. Okay. So now, let's see. Gosh, I still need to fix a few typos. So if you want to find the annual savings, you would subtract the amount owed if he itemizes deductions from the amount owed with the standard deduction. So that's going to give you the value of how much he's going to save every month for the entire year by itemizing his deductions. And I think you probably found out it's somewhere in the $2,000 range. So then the final step, or the final two steps are, okay, well, how much is he saving each month then? All right, because that savings is going to offset his mortgage payment, right? It's kind of like he's paying his mortgage payment, but then the government is giving him more money back or taking less money from him. So you can subtract out how much money he's getting back from the government to figure out what his effective monthly mortgage payment is. So the first thing you'd want to do is figure out how much he's saving per month. So basically you take this number right here, the annual savings, and divide it by 12. All right. And I think you're going to find it's like 175 or somewhere in the $200 range, somewhere around $200, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. All right. And then finally, what is his effective monthly mortgage payment? Well, you computed his mortgage payment way back up here. No, it's after property taxes. Monthly mortgage payment. Here we go. All right. So what you want to do then is take the monthly mortgage payment and subtract out the monthly savings. Okay, so that means, and I think you're going to be subtracting out around $200. So that means even though his mortgage payment is for everything is really like in the low 2000s, he's going to get to subtract out like $200 from that, because even though he's still paying that original number, he's paying less in federal income taxes, so that offsets it. All right, so that's how to do the very last assignment that's in Google Classroom, probably our last one for the year, aside from me maybe writing a survey to figure out which topics you liked and which topics you did not like during the school year. All right, I'm going to post this online and for the Google Meet, and yeah, go for it. I hope you guys finish it. We're near the end now. Grades are due in 2 weeks. Email me if you have any questions about your grades. Some people have been. I've been updating things as soon as I get an email from you saying that you finished something. So yes, if you do finish something, even if you turn it in Classroom and that sends an email to me, I keep my emails categorized and I only look at the Classroom emails like once a day maybe. So if you send me a personal email saying, please look, I finished this assignment, please update Genesis, I'll be more than happy to do it, probably within a couple hours. So, all right. Well, hopefully I'll see some of you guys on Friday. I'm kind of missing my last two stalwart attendees this week of these Google Meets, but maybe we'll see them on Friday. All right. Cheers.